60 points higher.
The remaining parts of Q3 are going to be a little, will languish after the huge festive.
Cost of power was down, and employee cost as well was a little bit lower.
It's starting about 8.5% lower and at about 370 odd rupees or so. So 30 rupees lower on Lenskart.
We, of course, have plans to do the next phase of expansion in Mahan. It's just that the timing is what we are going to look at.
The listing was something that the street was expecting to be muted because of the value, on offer.
Even if the Senate passes the bill, the package must still be approved by the House of Representatives and signed by President Donald Trump.
Markets are in the green. The mid-cap index, advance decline ratio is positive.
Our market's still holding on to that 25,600. It's been a good day, a steady day of gains, up 150 points in the Nifty, with the Sensex up nearly 500 points. You're watching Closing Bell. We're coming to you live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. I'm Reema, with me, Surbhi and Prashant, and Nigel is there at the newsroom. Hi.
Hi, folks. Yeah, I mean, actually, it's turning out to be a very, very decent session compared to the soft start and quiet start we had in the morning. There's a fair amount of green, and look at the stocks that are, moving up on news or otherwise. Lots of positive result reactions today. Torrent Pharma, Nykaa is up about 6.5%. Nalco pushing a 10% gain. And, of course, the newly listed entity or in the new avatar, Piramal Finance. We'll talk more about the stock. And let's not forget, even Lenskart, after starting 10% lower, is in the green. So, Nigel, I guess the day really belongs to the bulls so far.
Well, that's right. It belongs to the bulls, but you would like the breadth of the market actually to be better, right? Because still, even going by all the headlines that you just ran us through, the number of stocks advancing and declining are even Steven. So various portfolios in the market actually are not feeling like we're seeing this sort of green on the screen. But a good session, but ye dil mange mo, I think so, is what the street would say, since various portfolios still will not be feeling like we're seeing a 150-point bump up on the Nifty itself.
Oh, all right. Just to run you through some of the big large cap movers on the way up, a lot of IT stocks. Infosys top gainer, HCLTech, Wipro also up 1.5% to 2%. Bajaj Finance is holding up strong ahead of numbers. That's got a gain going. You've got a Hero MotoCorp, which is up nearly 1.8%. Reliance Industries is providing support to the bulls. On the way down, it's Trent, and that continues to be the big laggard. And it's expanding its losses as the day has progressed, with 7.5% lower. Tata Consumer, Eternal are some of the other drags. Hi, Prashant.
Well, guys, hi, good afternoon. Yeah, it's I think, as Nigel said, maybe it's IT and Reliance, right, which is basically holding up things on the upside. Otherwise, lots of popular mid-caps, small caps, etc., under pressure. So, it's a slightly, that kind of a market. Although mid-cap index is up 0.75%, let's just put the small cap index as well and see what is happening there. There you go, about 0.5% higher. So it's not bad for the broader market either. It's just that there's this enough and more on the downside today as well. Let's just quickly run you through what's lined up here over the next 60 minutes or so. And we'll sort of then pick it up from there. So markets are building on early gains to propel the Nifty towards 25,600 levels. IT and pharma stocks kickstart the week on a firm footing. Divergent moves on a couple of earnings reactions. Voltamp skyrockets following a stellar performance, while transformers and rectifiers tanks after a dismal margin performance. Key highlights from the results coming up on Closing Bell. Trend is something we will address. Nalco is higher. So, what do these numbers mean? Piramal Finance, of course, the demerged entity, sharp move on Friday, and I think it's up again today. Some details coming up on that one in a bit from now as well. So that's where we're at. Okay, I think let's just dive straight into it, right? Nigel, Nalco is making a move. Why don't we start there?
Well, Nalco's numbers, in fact, were very, very good. On the top line, there was a growth of close to 7.5%. But the real beat came in terms of the operating profit. That popped up close to 24%, which made the margins move up from sub 40% to around 45%. That looked good. What supported it? Higher LME prices. You had higher alumina sales as well that helped the top line. So operating leverage played out to some extent. Besides that, there were various input costs, like employee cost was down close to around 8% when you have growth on the top line. And even the cost of power consumed was down by close to around 10%. And if you look at both the segment, namely the chemicals, or which is known as the alumina segment, or even the aluminium segment, on both of them, just take a look at it. In comparison to a quarter-quarter basis or a year-on-year year-on-year basis, the absolute EBIT number looked beautiful. So better operational performance, backed by a little lower effective tax rate. That's what made the PAT go up by close to around 37%. They threw in a bit of a sweetener as well. They declared a dividend of close to around 4 rupees, which the street likes. And they've also said they expanded alumina capacity. Remember, currently the alumina capacity is around 2.1 million tons. They're saying another million will come on stream by the middle of 2026. So there's an expansion as well that's on the cards. On the back of these numbers, brokerages like Antique, they have gone ahead. They have upped their target price from around 262 to around 280 rupees. They have upgraded their EBITDA estimates for the next few years. That's FY26, 27, as well as 28. And Motilal Oswal as well, they have a neutral rating, target price of around 250 rupees, but they have raised their revenue, EBITDA and PAT estimates for FY26. So numbers look good, dividend being thrown in, and brokerages going ahead and upgrading their estimates. The street likes it. Stock, bazooka move today.
Okay, all right. Yeah, actually, Nigel, let's take that up with Deepan, right? Yeah, we've got Deepan joining in. Afternoon, Deepan, good to have you in. Lots of individual stocks that we have to discuss, but let's start with Nalco. At these prices, does it make the cut? The performance, as Nigel is explaining, has been really robust this quarter.
Oops. Sorry about that. I think the camera is not completely set. No, I think that Nigel has covered it pretty well. And this is cyclical business. So when the realizations are higher on LME, that's going to reflect in Nalco's numbers as well. And fresh capacity is also gradually going up, volumes going up, and valuation still attractive. I think there's further scope for the stock price to move up. And in times like this, when a lot of mid-cap stocks are trading at very expensive premium multiples, I think investors are looking at metal stocks in fresh light where earnings are reasonable. And end of the day, last few years, track record have been pretty decent. And companies like Nalco and all are gradually increasing their mining capacity, production capacity. New smelter also going on stream, or rather brownfield expansion on stream. So that does aid the sentiment. I would remain invested in Nalco. And if you had less exposure to the metal share, then this is another stocks worth considering.
Got that. Let's talk about trend. Clearly, the stock of the day, disappointing Q2 numbers. Manglam is now joining in to refresh the numbers for us. Manglam.
Well, if you look at the numbers this time around, the street was apprised of them in the second quarter. They were surprised negatively, and thereafter, when the actual numbers came in, they were surprised even more. Why is that? Because, while the revenues declined by about 17%, the street thought maybe, just maybe, the margins have bottomed out. But that's not the case, because reported EBITDA is up 26.5%. If you adjust for all the Ind AS sort of, impact on the lease accounting, etc., the companies, by a company's own accord, the EBITDA has grown 14%. So on a 17% revenue growth, the EBITDA growing 14% implies that there has been margin compression. And at the same time, the net profit is down by about 11 or up 11% as well, lowered by a higher depreciation. But importantly, the company said consumer sentiment is fairly muted. So 4157 crores is what the company had posted last year. This year, the revenue is 4800 crores. The margins, on an optical basis have increased, but adjusted basis have declined. And we've seen a higher jump in the depreciation. They've continued to open new stores, West Side stores as well as Zudio stores, 19 West Side stores and 44 Zudio stores, while their other businesses are growing as well in terms of expansion. What's not growing is their overall top line, and we haven't seen the kind of Zudio-like hyper growth in any of their newer formats, and that's something that the street does not like. Remember, the stock not particularly cheap. At peak, it was trading at 140 times, but then they were doing growth of over 50%. So that made the PEG ratio, or price earnings to growth ratio, a lot more favorable than now, where the stock is trading at 72 times, which is half of what it would at peak, but growth has less than half. So the PEG ratio now is closer to 3.5, 4. So, from that perspective, the disappointment is more on growth than just earnings, and that's exactly what the street is now recalibrating and adjusting itself to.
Thank you. Deepan, buy the stock at sub 4,300. Keep the faith in the long-term story of trend, or do you think the tide has really changed and we need to now accept that on account of competition, new age brands, or maybe just the size of the company, growth is going to be slower and therefore valuations need to be recalibrated?
Yeah, Reema, but the stock price has nearly halved. I mean, it's down 48% from its peak. And first, the disclosure, we are invested in the company, and it's a bit of a tricky question to answer whether to remain invested. Certainly not buying more at these levels, because one quarter you can accept a slowdown, but let's see what happens in December quarter. That's the peak season for them as well. And Trent is certainly getting some benefit from GST cuts and overall improvement in consumer sentiment. So the real question here is whether this is kind of a, just a slight dip, which is temporary in nature, or is it the beginning of a trend where now the growth rates will be kind of low double digits? So that will get answered in a couple of quarters. But for the time being, I think we are remaining invested, but certainly no looking at fresh investment despite a correction of almost 48%.
Okay, all right, Dipan, I wanted your view on these luggage makers. We know there's a big runway ahead, but VIP went through that that deal, the long-awaited deal that came about. But Safari's numbers actually are beautiful. VIP, by the way, from the time that deal has been announced, with regard to the change of ownership, the stock has done 462, I think, sub 400 rupees, while Safari has at least held its ground, and now these numbers look quite good. It's the more expensive of the two stocks, but do you have any view?
I think from time to time, Safari does tend to surprise, and because they have got the customer pulse far better than VIP by focusing on hard luggage, whereas VIP is stronger in the soft luggage side. But I think with private equity, private equity has taken over VIP industry. Certainly, you could expect higher growth rates. Generally, we've seen that when new owners do come in, they kind of rev up the operations, look at cost cutting. So I would look at both of these companies in positive light, but I think they are more on the expensive side. So you should wait for a bit of a correction before buying into these companies. Existing investors, I think, remain invested, but just should be some margin of safety to buy into these companies which is not there at these levels. So wait and watch will be my view on both these companies.
Okay, let's just get Deepan, stay with us, get a technical view in as well. Nagaraj Shetty is with us with what he'd make of things and any specific trades in that sense. Nagaraj, good to have you here. What's your view and what are your trades?
Hi, Prashant. Good afternoon. Yes, Nifty has witnessed a sustainable upside bounce from near the important support of around 25,300. I think I'm expecting the overall chart pattern present setup is indicating a formation of important bottom reversal, and I'm expecting from here onwards Nifty could reach up to around 26,000 mark, which is a strong set of resistance in the near term. As far as the stocks are concerned, I'm bullish on the banking side, the small scale banks and PSU banks. If you look at chartically, Union Bank has been in a stronger up move. We have seen higher bottoms, higher tops, and constantly moving up without showing any severe damage in between. The overall chart pattern is looking positive from the current level of 154.50. I'm expecting this to move towards the next hurdle of around 165 in the near term. Second one is Ujjivan Small Finance Bank has been in a consolidation phase, smaller downward correction over the last couple of weeks. Seems to have formed an important higher bottom reversal. I think the overall chart pattern is looking positive. The next resistance to be watched is around 56 in the near term.
Okay. Union Bank and Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. Nagaraj, thanks very much. We'll speak again. Appreciate it. Rima, KPIT Tech has reported numbers. How did they look?
Well, Q2 was disappointing, but the company has guided for a better H2. They're saying H2 will be better than the first half of the year and a promising FY27. The CFO went on to say that as we move into the second half of the year, we are well positioned to capture new opportunities and resume our growth momentum. So I think it's this commentary that the street has latched on to. Q2 has been soft, 0.3% top-line revenue growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis, and this too was boosted by an acquisition, Carsoft, that the company did, and that contributed 2.5% to the top line. If you strip that out, organic revenue growth probably would have been negative. Margins, though, have been maintained at 21.1%. But as the company said, H2 is looking better than H1. FY27 looks promising, and the company is all set to resume the growth momentum. Dipan, this has also been one stock which has underperformed quite a bit and come off sharply from its 52-week highs. Do you think after a period of slow growth, many quarters now, slowly it's time to start accumulating and better prospects lie ahead?
No, Rima, I think that last 2 quarters have been challenging for KPIT. And overall, I think when it comes to electric vehicles, we are realizing that a lot of the Chinese manufacturers are really going on absolute rocket fuel over there. They're gaining market share. Wherever they are present, they're gaining massive market share. And that's putting a lot of stress on existing OEMs, be it in Europe, Japan, US as well. And KPIT being focused on the non-Chinese OEMs, I think that's a bit of a challenge for KPIT. And it's not that the stock is really cheap at these levels. Some of the other mid-cap software companies are trading at more attractive multiples. Large cap, of course, is trading at even cheaper multiples. So I would just be a bit cautious in KPIT at this point of time.
Okay. Got that, Deepan. Just looking at some of the other big movers and shakers of the day. So while KPIT is rising, the ones that have been hit hard on the back of numbers include Shakti Pumps, results disappointment, Global Health for sure, which is down. By the way, look at Swiggy right now. Swiggy is falling quite a bit, 3.5% lower on Swiggy. Remember, the board finally did go ahead and approve that fundraising plan of 10,000 crores. That's the amount they're looking to raise via equity. Stock is on a bit of a slump. Let's put up a longer-term chart on Swiggy. When this was announced, in step with the results, even on that day, there was a bit of a selling on Swiggy. Yeah, so from the top, it's given up a fair bit. Deepan, it's the day and age of these new exciting businesses, call them internet businesses, tech businesses, I don't know, I mean, retailing businesses. So just leave us with some thoughts.
No, I'm getting progressively more cautious. But it's Swiggy and Eternal. Eternal is one of our holdings as a measure of disclosure. And the way Lenskart has gone and all of these Nykaa, I know Nykaa is doing well also, but I'm just getting a bit cautious on these platform companies which continue to make a lot of losses and are promising profits. But, as things evolve, I think the wait is getting longer and longer and investors may get a bit tired in these companies. So I want to be a bit cautious, at least not look at increasing exposure to any of these new age tech companies, these consumer tech companies. And maybe it's just time to just step away from them. I think maybe the correction gets deeper over there for the likes of Swiggy, because this thing of going for a QIP, 10,000 crores, in a way it is a bit opportunistic. The market may take it, so they're doing it when they can raise the funds. But I don't think from a capital allocation perspective, it is good. I think you're just diluting the equity. And then when will you be able to service such a large equity? These are the questions which come to my mind.
By the way, Pine Labs, today is day 2 for its IPO. And so far, the subscription is about 0.5 times. Sharp reaction in all these individual names. So quite a few casualties. Though the color on the screen is green, we have these individual stocks.
Absolutely on the downside. But let's not forget, we have the upside names as well. I'd name some of them. Torrent, Nykaa, Lumax Auto. Some of them are still holding on to gains. So it's both shades. But yes, there's a fair amount of red wherever results have not met expectations. We'll let Deepan go on that note. Thank you very much for being with us, Deepan. Take a quick break. But when we come back on the other side, we'll have Alok Ranjan from ITI Mutual Fund joining in with some market perspective.
Yeah, Ajay, look at your dad. Will we be the same at his age?
Absolutely yes, if we plan our future like him.
But do we have to wait until his age?
Absolutely not. We recently invested in LIC's new Jeevan Shanti, which gives deferred annuity, which means regular income after some years.
Your holiday isn't over until your flight is over.
आप मेरे लिए stocks recommend करेंगे?
That's right.
50 shares खरीदूं या 5,000? Brokerage is
just 20 rupees.
आपके आसमान से टपक पड़े?
Sky से HDFC Sky, all-in-one investment app.
Fixed brokerage on stocks and F&O. HDFC Sky. Download today. Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Right here, right now. कितना कुछ नया start हो रहा है. जनराली और सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ इंडिया साथ मिलकर बने हैं जनराली सेंट्रल लाइफ इंश्योरेंस और हम आपकी हर नई शुरुआत के साथ हैं. जनराली सेंट्रल लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, आपका लाइफ टाइम पार्टनर.
I am Gaurav Mehta and I'm the CEO.
No, you're a founder.
No.
Yep.
I'm not a founder.
Yes, you are.
What's going on here?
I'm a resident
But
cardiologist.
you're also a founder.
Doctors aren't founders.
They can be, yeah.
Who's my co-founder, by the way?
You don't have one yet. Your wealth is your first startup. Don't just manage it, scale it with the right co-founder. We see your vision and unlock the true potential of your wealth. Ionic Wealth, co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
आपका और हमारा बहुत ही लंबा और करीबी रिश्ता है. हम उस चटकारे में हैं जो आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ लेते हैं. उस दराज में है जिसमें छिपा है माँ के राजमा चावल का राज. उन सांसों में है जो आपके पलों को महकाते हैं. तो अगली बार आपको कोई चीज पसंद आ जाए तो उसे पलट के देखिएगा, जरूर हमारा नाम दिख जाएगा।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
The world is more connected than ever, and we at Pine Labs are making digital payments seamless for our customers. We've come a long way to offer a suite of digital payment and issuing solutions for businesses, brands, banks, and fintechs. Expanding our partnership ecosystem through strategic moves and tech investments, we're pushing beyond our current markets, engineering simpler, smarter digital payment solutions for the globe.
Okay, welcome back. 117 points. So the index is holding on with, that amount of gain since the morning. So no real bobble or anything of that sort. What are the big movers? What's the big volume action? Hormuz is standing by with exactly that. Hormuz, over to you.
Well, the stock of today, had it not been Lenskart, could definitely have been Nalco, considering the move that it has seen today is almost up now 10%. The volumes in today's session are the highest in over a year, and more than 6 crore shares of Nalco have been traded. That is 6x its 20-day average, which is just close to 1 crore shares. And the stock has had a fairly decent year as well. It's up 22% year to date. It was up 60% last year, was up 60% in 2023 as well. So it's been a fairly good performer over the last 3 years. Of course, can't not talk about Lenskart. The listing at a discount, the fall, and then the subsequent recovery, still around its IPO price of 402. But look at the volumes. Already 12 crore shares have been traded on Lenskart. The total trading value is nearing 5,000 crore rupees already. It will be interesting to see how much of it was marked for delivery when we talk about Lenskart tomorrow morning. Indigo Paints stock up around 17% in today's session, among the top gainers on the small cap index here too. The volumes are the highest since September of last year. We've had close to 30 lakh shares that have been traded. The 20-day average is only 44,000 shares. And the stock has been an underperformer over the last couple of years. Down 18 this year, was down 6 in last year as well. Dream folks, and the announcement coming today was that of an acquisition that the company is doing. The stock is up 10%. It snapped a 3-day losing streak. Volumes are the highest in a month as well. Close to 25 lakh shares that have been traded. That is also 6x of its 20-day average, which is around 4 lakh shares. Of course, can't not take away from the fact that the stock is still down almost 2/3 in 2025 itself. And lastly, Lakshmi Dental. The stock made some news in September when Motilal Oswal had come out with a very bullish note. Today the stock is up 7.5% in today's session. At 6 lakh shares traded, 20-day average of around 60,000 shares, and it's set to report results this week. But since that report and the highs that the stock had made of close to around 575.80, the stock is already down 43% from those levels, is Lakshmi Dental.
Well, Hormuz, thanks very much for that. Alok Ranjan is head of equities and senior fund manager at ITI Mutual Fund. He's with us to take some questions. Thanks very much for joining us, Alok. I think first time we were speaking, at least on this forum. So generally, there seems to be a bit of a, while there are lots of calls. I think there's one from Morgan, there's one from Goldman. On the buy side, people are expecting better things going forward because of all the rate cards, tax cards, etc. Maybe a bit of a consumption boost. Conviction seems to be missing. I guess it's also because it's not as if markets are relatively cheap, but not on an absolute basis. They're not cheap. What is your view, Alok, as you look ahead in terms of trying to pick stocks to make money from here? You're on mute, Alok. Okay, I think we'll just go back to Alok in a bit. We'll get that view from him. Markets, right? I mean, just a quick look at what else is happening. Bajaj Finance, by the way, is going to report numbers a little later in the evening. There's a earnings call as well, and we'll put out a preview as we go along, a bit from now. There you go. The stock's about 1.7% higher. I think Alok is back with us. If ITI Mutual Fund. Alok, go on. You got the question, but we couldn't hear you earlier. Alok, go on.
Correction after. Hello.
Yes, go on, please.
Yes, Prashant.
I think into why portfolios perhaps are not feeling all that great. Look at a few of these names, right? Transrail, recent listing is down almost 10%. Very large volumes for this one. Shakti Pumps is down 7.5%. Meaningful retracement, by the way. Stocks, the high was about 1100 not recently, but it's correcting and sharply so. JM Financial is down about 8%. Stocks at about 146 or so. You got Medanta, which is down 6% on the back of numbers. Thangamayil is down about 5.5%. Very sharp mover recently. Urban Company, 132. I think on the day of listing, the high was, I think, about 163, 164. Actually, even higher. I think it
went to almost 200.
200, yeah. 200 plus, just over 200. Listed at about 162, I think. Urban Company. So 132 now. That's taking a knock. Aarti Pharma is down 11%, 770. Genus Power is down 5.5%. You've got many other names. Schneider, IIFL Cap, Sangvi Movers, all of these names with decent-sized volumes, which seem to be under pressure at this point. And that's the reason why I think even though headline indices are doing just fine, there is some amount of pressure otherwise out there. I'll give it one more. Should I give it one more shot and go across to Alok to check if we have him? Alok, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Prashant.
Okay, let's try once more. Go on, Alok. Just wanted to understand what's the play and how are you picking stocks in this environment?
Right. So we are talking about the conviction in the market. So what I was trying to say that there is a lack of conviction, and the reason is that last 1 year was not so good. And it was against expectation. Most of the people were expecting markets to do well. But now things have started turning around and we need to realize that. This year, this quarter earnings season has been much better than expectation. And valuations have also corrected almost 10% from the top. And also earnings trajectory is looking good from here. So I think, first of all, large caps are moving. And from here on, mid caps will also pick up. And the last one to pick up will be small cap. And that is when conviction of the crowd or conviction of the people is at the highest. That should be the progression. Yeah.
Got that. Alok, hi, afternoon. Rima here. So on which stocks, themes, sectors do you have maximum conviction now? Because it's been, the last 1 year has been tough to make money. Your own fund is down nearly 7%. So if you have to reverse that kind of underperformance and make big bets, what would those be?
Right. So definitely I cannot talk about the stocks, that mutual fund regulation.
So what about sectors and themes?
Yeah. So sectors, we are bullish on consumer sector, especially consumer services. Then capital goods is picking up, and you might have seen reports that capex is getting better. So capital goods looks good. Energy sector, some pockets of energy sectors are doing well. If you see oil companies, especially refinery companies, they have been doing well and they are looking quite attractive at this level. IT is quite, we are ambivalent. IT valuations have corrected, but still growth is not looking that good. But the best sector that we are looking at is BFSI sector. I think earnings have bottomed out. This quarter was not so good in terms of profit and profitability, but from here on, trajectory looks quite good. So BFSI looks to be the best position going forward.
All right, Alok, request you to stay with us. We're going to focus on two stocks that are moving with outside gains and losses. Transformers and rectifiers is lower. Voltam is flying away. Vinny joins us to tell us more about both these two stocks. Vinny?
Yes, both these capital goods stocks, a different story playing out here for both of them in terms of earnings. While for transformers and rectifiers, it was a weak Q2 number that came in. The execution, that was a concern and a challenge that has come in for the company as well. So revenues are down by around 0.2% for 60 crores. While in terms of the profit of the company, that's down 25%. EBITDA, that's seen a weak performance as well. So overall margin contraction that has come in as well. 300 around basis point contraction in terms of margins. Mainly because, why? higher staff costs as well as other OPEX expenses that was higher, and that led to the lowest margins that the company has seen since Q3 FY24, and also do not forget it's below their guided range of 17 to 18%. Order inflows, that also hasn't been anything great. 590 crores are the order inflows versus last year it was at around 1031 crores. So no major order inflows that are coming in Q2, and that is why weak number there. But apart from that, World Bank has also said that they have debarred transformers and rectifiers on bidding on its finance projects for engaging in some alleged corruption and fraud that was tied to around 486 million in a project that was in Nigeria. So some talks and investigations are still going on that front, but as of now, they're debarred from that. Now, apart from that, Voltamp, let's talk about that. Good set of numbers that came in from the company. Strong performance in terms of execution. Margins have seen an improvement as well. So obviously, when you look at it in terms of revenue growth, that's seen a 21% growth in terms of revenue on a year-on-year basis. EBITDA growth of around 25%. Margins have seen a sharp improvement as well. So overall, good performance from the company. They're adding new capacity, which is a positive for them. So execution will start improving furthermore, and overall they are remaining quite selective in terms of order picking. They're picking up the good profitable orders, so that is also something that everyone is quite positive on for the stock as well.
Okay, all right, thanks a lot for that, Vinny. Well, Alok is still with us. Hi Alok, Nigel on this side, good to speak to
Nigel.
you.
Hi Nigel.
Any view on more these core domestic themes? You know, where everyone's talking about real estate, and maybe that's got a longer runway. If you have a comment on that, would you play it via paints? You know, paints has been a rank underperforming sector. Asian Paints, Berger Paints down 20-25% from the peak. Not done anything. Now, hopefully, this competitive intensity, goes a little bit behind. And cement, there's a lot of optimism out there. But I was just doing a quick check, and I think this month as well has been a flattish month. Demand is yet to pick up. Your view?
Right. So paint sector, I mean, competitive intensity had gone up because two more new players joined in, and definitely they are trying to grab market share at the cost of profitability of other players. But as far as Asian Paints is concerned, I would not like to comment on the valuation, but it has definitely corrected, and I think things should be kind of a stabilizing for the sector. Competitive intensity has started a bit going down, and things would pick up from here on. What are the other sectors you asked?
Cement, Alok, if you could give a view there.
Which one?
Cement.
Yeah, cement sector, I mean, 2-3 months ago, it seemed that they are getting back to pricing power, and especially North and East sector was doing quite well. They took some price rise, but right now, again, things are a bit mixed up. But going forward, I think as budget comes nearby, infrastructure and demand for that should increase. Government capex should also pick up. So maybe it will do from here on. It will do better from here on. As far as valuation is concerned, valuation has always been a question mark for the sector. It has been basically going up on the basis of price hikes they take, or if there is a sudden improvement in demand of tech.
Hello, great chatting with you. Thank you very much for joining in. It's time. Okay, we'll get to the futures and options space in just a bit. IndiCube also came out with the numbers. Stock is up nearly 8%. We chatted with the management earlier, and the company is maintaining a 30 to 35% kind of revenue growth for a 30% plus revenue growth for this year at least. And, this is a company which has seen a strong expansion in margins. Margins used to be sub 10%. Now they hit 21% in Q1 and Q2. And the company, when we chatted with them at about 11:30, that's when you got that spike in the stock, said margins should also be sustainable. So that's one more stock. And Imami profits were down, but the stock is up nearly 2%. Nigel is now over at the F&O desk. Nigel?
Well, the 20 DMA, very, very important. The Nifty can't get past that, and the Nifty Bank is counting it as a bit of a support. So if you just pull up the intraday chart of the Nifty with the 20 DMA, you'll see it went very, very close to there and it got rejected. While the Nifty Bank, the first reference point on the downside comes in at around that 20-day odd mark. Looking at the options data, it's quite interesting because the bulls, they want to create a base at around the 25,500 mark. So you look at the 25,600 put, massive open interest build up. The premium is down from around 130 rupees. It's come down to around 50 rupees. So for them, that 25,470 mark becomes extremely important. Moving to the 25,550 put as well, the premium at the start of today was around 100 rupees. That's come down to around 31 rupees. So clearly there are signs that there is writing at that level. 25,450, the important mark that you don't want to breach on the downside. Looking at the call side as well, the 25,650 call, good amount of openers built up. However, the premium has not run away, telling you that there is mix of activity out there. The premium is ballpark around 48, 49 rupees the last time I checked. Individual stocks are doing a thing of their own. On sale, the numbers were quite positive, but the stock didn't react positively because there was big buying ahead of the numbers. Now you're seeing fresh long build up on that particular name. The street is playing that one. Nykaa, one of those new age companies that are actually doing well, while the others are a little bit nervous today. So fresh longs on that one as well. While Bharti Airtel, there was a large trade that took place. There were a lot of shorts that got into the system. There's a bit of a short covering bounce that's playing out on Bharti Airtel. And finally, Trent. There is some cash-based selling that we're seeing on Trent after the numbers weren't as good as what the street expected. And there is some unwinding of long positions as well on Trent. So net-net, on the upside, that 25,700 odd mark, closer around the 20 DMA, becomes a bit of a resistance. And Friday's low of around 25,320 becomes an important reference point on the downside. Back to you guys.
Okay, all right. Nigel, thanks very much for that. What we're going to do is we'll take a quick commercial break here. We're going to come back, get you a quick check on what's happening in dealing rooms. Nimesh is going to be with us with that on DStreet Chatter. We'll also get you some trading ideas in the short term. Coming up.
और सप्लाई ने ऑर्डर शिप कर दिया?
हाँ, बस अब पेमेंट्स करने हैं।
पेमेंट्स के लिए SBI योनो बिजनेस
इंस्टेंट है।
फॉरेक्स ट्रांजैक्शंस, टैक्स पेमेंट्स 24/7 365 डेज फट फट फट।
सबको पता है।
SBI योनो बिजनेस फास्ट है, सबको पता है।
Well, the best holiday ever's finally over.
When you fly Emirates, your holiday isn't over until your flight is over.
Power your investments to navigate across market cycles with specialized investment funds. To know more, visit www.tatamutualfund.com/SIF. Investments in specialized investment fund involves relatively high risk, including potential loss of capital, liquidity risk, and market volatility. Please read all investment strategy related documents carefully before making the investment decision.
कौन है जो जोड़े देश को? विकसित भारत का विकसित वायर.
Hi, I'm Gaurav Mehta and I'm the CEO.
No, you're a founder.
No.
Yep.
I'm not a founder.
Yes, you are.
What's going on here?
I'm Aarti Nanji and I play tennis for
But you're also a founder.
Founder?
Yes.
Who's my co-founder, by the way?
You don't have one yet. Your wealth is your first startup. Don't just manage it, scale it with the right co-founder. We see your vision and unlock the true potential of your wealth. Ionic Wealth, co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
Right here, right now, कितना कुछ नया स्टार्ट हो रहा है. जनराली और सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ इंडिया मिलकर बने हैं जनराली सेंट्रल इंश्योरेंस और हम आपकी हर नई शुरुआत के साथ हैं टू प्रोटेक्ट एवरीथिंग यू लव. जनराली सेंट्रल इंश्योरेंस, आपका लाइफ टाइम पार्टनर.
The world is more connected than ever, and we at Pine Labs are making digital payments seamless for our customers. We've come a long way to offer a suite of digital payment and issuing solutions for businesses, brands, banks, and fintechs. Expanding our partnership ecosystem through strategic moves and tech investments, we're pushing beyond our current markets, engineering simpler, smarter digital payment solutions for the globe.
Welcome back. Well, the markets actually have come off a little bit from the top. The Nifty Bank is a relative underperformer in today's trading session. But one stock from the broader markets is IMFA. We had explained to you last week itself that it could be a near-term profit-taking that you're seeing on announcement of the deal. But otherwise, it's making the company large by scale and it's putting them into a bigger scheme of things as well. So that's why the stock now post its con call and post the interaction that they had with us here on CNBC-TV18, where Mr. Panda detailed the way ahead. They're going to be more than 1,000 crores of EBITDA. Stock up 10%, no mean feat on a smaller counter like that. That said, let's go across to Nimesh. DStreet chatter. Nimesh, what are you picking up? Well, we'll say markets are up 100 points, but it's not feeling like that for various portfolios.
It looks like, and the reason for that, while the mid-cap index is looking in the green today, but the sense is that there are better sellers in the broader market. So maybe that's something to watch out for. It may not show up in the index, but decent day of trade, largely led by tech and metals. Metals has done really well for the last couple of days. Tech was a surprise today and no big flows as well. So I get some more of a short covering rally in many of the tech stocks today. PSUs continue to outperform. I've been saying for a while now that that's a space which generally is seeing a bit of buying interest. Defense is a sector today which is doing well. So within PSUs as well, there's a bit of churn happening. So, one day it's metals, one day it's defense, one day it's railway. So, but in general, there seems to be quite of interest in the PSU basket. I guess for the November series, in the next 10 days, this could be very crucial for the markets as well. The BR election outcome and the possible trade deal. That can be a big trigger for the markets, at least in the November series. So, that is something to watch out for. But I guess if you look at like what today we saw from Goldman, a big upgrade on India. The technical analysts have been talking about a big breakout on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. So looks like this could be the curtain, the precursor to the big rally, the BR elections as well as the US trade deal. Okay, all right. So those two big triggers we'll keep an eye out on. But Nimesh, what about individual stocks? Or what are you picking up? Well, a lot of stocks are buzzing in the broader markets as well as in the large cap names as well. The first stock on my list is JSW Steel. It has relatively outperformed in the last few days within the steel pack. The entire steel pack has done well, but JSW stands out. There is strong delivery-based buying happening as well, and the city is anticipating a corporate development. It might take some time, but within the next few months, expect a very large corporate development in JSW Steel. So that's the buzz there. The second name is GMR Airports. I think results are today, but in general, there has been buying interest for the last couple of days in GMR Airport. Even on Friday, the delivery volume was quite strong. And so is the case today as well. And even technically, the sense is above 96.5. There's going to be a big breakout as well in GMR Airport. So that's the second name. The third name is Cyient. Again, it's been a relatively underperformer in the entire IT pack, but now it seems like the large part of the selling seems to be largely over. I understand one large long-only fund was an active seller. They were running more than 7%. Looks like it's a clean out, and now the supply seems to be largely over. So that's the reason why it's buzzing in trade. And the last one is Manappuram Finance. Again, relatively, it's been in that narrow range between 260 to 280, 290. But again, at least the flows have picked up. I understand some large HNIs have started buying as well. For Manappuram, the long pending trigger of an open offer from Bain, that's still been pending for the last 9 months. That is a very near-term trigger to watch out for Manappuram Finance.
Thank you very much for that. By the way, the Nifty is now slipped below 25,600. So it's given up about 50-60 points in the last 10 minutes. Nagraj Shetty from HDFC Securities is now joining in with a few BTST calls. Nagraj?
Hi, Nima. Good afternoon. Yes, Nifty has showed some indication of some profit booking from the higher levels. But the overall chart pattern remains positive. I'm expecting a buy on dips opportunity. And the 25,300 is going to be a strong support for the market, and already it has taken us a level of that support, and I'm expecting to move from here onwards. And the stock wise, I have two stocks. One is from the metal side, Steel Authority. Second one is from a defense side, HCL. SAIL chartically has been in a sharp uptrend recently. It has witnessed a decisive upside breakout of around 140, 142 levels, currently trading higher. One can look to buy at this point of time. Upside target would be around 155. One can place a stop loss at 140. Second one is HAL. HAL was in a downtrend over the last couple of weeks. It has bounced back from near 200-day EMA. The overall chart pattern is looking positive. Currently trading around 4789, 4790 levels. One can look to buy at this point of time. Upside target would be around 5,000, and one can place a stop loss at 4675.
Thank you. Let's talk about Piramal Finance. That's in focus. 1, Q2 numbers, and 2, on account of the merger with Piramal Enterprises. Gaurav joins in with the details.
Well, as the shareholders of Piramal Enterprises, which is now known as Piramal Finance, have gained more than 25% in the last 2 days. And let me give you reasons why we are focusing on this stock. When we look at Piramal Finance, first is that it has been strong fundamentally. So let me take you through some of the numbers. The merger actually happened to simplify corporate structure, and at the same time, it is also the upper layer NBFC. But when we look at second quarter, there also we saw a very strong set of numbers from Piramal Finance, around 22% AUM growth. In fact, net interest income and PPOP grew almost by 30%, and at the same time profit that doubled on a year-on-year basis in the second quarter of FY26. When we look at the FY26 guidance, it has also been very optimistic from the company. In fact, they are expecting 25% growth in AUM. They are expecting profit to almost more than double from here in the range of 1300 to 1500 crores, and at the same time it will be the AUM growth will be driven by the growth AUM that they are factoring in. Apart from that, on the long-term basis also, they're expecting AUM to double almost in the next 3 years, and at the same time return to almost average AUM that is likely to go up to around 3% versus what it is right now at 1.7%, and this will be happening along with the leverage that they will getting from debt to equity levels. When we look at the management commentary during the conversation with our channel, they also said that they want unsecured lending to go higher, and at the same time that is the reason why net interest margins, they are also likely to go to around 7% versus what it is right now at 6.1%. So definitely outlook is very strong, growth outlook from the management as well as the guidance for FY26 as well as for the next 3 years. When we look at other merger benefits, they are also going to have around 14,500 crores of tax shield which can be used for the next several years. That means that the PBT is more likely to remain in line with PAT, which is profit. So that is also something that we should be factoring in. And lastly, they're also developing and investing in AI. Now coming to the valuation, when we look at valuation of the company, Piramal Finance current price to book value stands at around 1.1 times. But if we look at the peers, we've got some of the peers like HDB Financials, L&T Finance, all of them are trading somewhere in the vicinity of 3 times price to book. So definitely there is some headroom for the valuation also to go up. When we look at outlook, management themselves are guiding for a strong growth margins and the engines to be there with the company. And as a result, when we look at stock performance, it is reflecting in the stock performance as well. Even today, it is up more than 5%.
Okay, indeed. Yeah, quite a gain since the entity listed in its new avatar, and that's really strong commentary as you're pointing out, Gaurav. But before you go, tell us what to expect from Bajaj Finance. Numbers due today.
Well, as when we look at Bajaj Finance, we have already seen the AUM growth somewhere in the range of 23.5%. Remember, management has guided AUM growth to be in the range of 24% for FY26. And as a result, going ahead, when we look at the numbers, Street is expecting some strong set of number from Bajaj Finance. We are expecting around 22% growth in net interest income. PPOP, that is also likely to increase almost by 21% on a year-on-year basis. And as a result, when we talk about profit, we are expecting around 24% growth on a year-on-year basis in terms of profits. Now, coming to some of the ratios, we are expecting net interest margins to increase somewhere in the range of 9.6% versus what it was at 9.5% on a sequential basis, and credit cost that is likely to remain stable on a sequential basis. They do not see any kind of worry here. Now specifically when we look at the commentary, that is a key thing to watch out in this quarter, and this is because we have got multiple tailwinds like the GST rate cuts and at the same time festive demand. Remember, company has already announced some of the major updates. They said that during the festival, they have already seen actually demand surging almost by 27%. So that is already a tailwind that company has given to investors. So as a result, if they're going to maintain the guidance of around 24% growth, that is a key thing to watch out for. And how their commentary is going to be in terms of guidance and the growth is also a key thing to watch out for. And second is the commentary on the cost of funds. So we will see some kind of benefits in the cost of funds. So we will also be watching out on how the commentary is going to be there. But all in all, in terms of numbers, good set of numbers is what we're expecting from Bajaj Finance in this quarter.
Okay, all right, got that. Gaurav, thank you very much for giving us all the details over there. We have Sudeep Bandopadhyay joining in. He's, of course, a market expert, has views on a lot of the fundamental discussion points. Sudeep, good to have you in. Let's actually start right there on financials. What did you make of Piramal Finance? I don't know if you caught our conversation with the company, but they really were sounding very, very optimistic on multiple fronts, talking about various levers of growth as well as margin expansion. Your sense, and maybe throw in a word on Bajaj Finance as well.
Of course, I think the management was very, very confident about the growth, and I think that's pretty interesting. The most interesting thing is, combine that with the valuation at which it is quoting. It's about 1.1 time book vis-a-vis its peers, which are around 3 time book. So definitely there is a valuation gap, and somewhere the market is probably started to notice that, and this valuation gap to an extent will get filled. So yes, Piramal Finance definitely looks good at current level, and it's definitely worth buying even at current levels. As far as Bajaj is concerned, I'll be very keenly watching the management commentary on the growth guidance. Of course, they have already in the business update indicated about the tailwind on account of GST cut and festive demand. But the profit guidance, whether they maintain at around 24% growth guidance, is what I will be watching. Of course, cost of funds also should be coming down, and that should help the improving the margins. So overall, I think the NBFCs are in a much better position in a falling interest rate scenario, and some of these leading NBFCs definitely will benefit more than proportionately in this kind of falling interest rate scenario.
Okay. All right, Sudeep, stay on. We'll take a quick break, come back. Lots of other stocks to discuss with Sudeep. We are back in just a moment.
Well, the best holiday ever's finally over.
When you fly Emirates, your holiday isn't over until your flight is over.
आपके कलीग्स भी आपका परिवार है। इनकी सेफ्टी से समझौता? नो चांस। इसीलिए पॉलीकैप ग्रीन वायर्स। इनके सुपीरियर इंसुलेशन इमरजेंसी में दे कम धुआं। Polycab Green Wires, India's safe, happy connection.
For takeoff, mere force isn't enough. The power of momentum is equally necessary. Just like a rocket needs momentum, your investments too need momentum. Introducing Samco Small Cap Fund, India's first momentum-based small cap fund.
Invest today.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
आपका और हमारा बहुत ही लंबा और करीबी रिश्ता है। हम उस चटकारे में हैं जो आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ लेते हैं, उस दराज में है जिसमें छिपा है माँ के राजमा चावल का राज। कभी आपके हाथ में अच्छाई की चमक बनकर आपका दिल जीतते रहे, तो अगली बार आपको कोई चीज पसंद आ जाए तो उसे पलट के देखिएगा, जरूर हमारा नाम दिख जाएगा।
I am Gaurav Mehta and I'm the CEO.
No, you're a founder.
No.
Yep.
I'm not a founder.
Yes, you are.
What's going on here?
I'm a resident
But
cardiologist.
you're also a founder.
Doctors aren't founders.
They can be, yeah.
Who's my co-founder, by the way?
You don't have one yet. Your wealth is your first startup. Don't just manage it, scale it with the right co-founder. We see your vision and unlock the true potential of your wealth. Ionic Wealth, co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
कौन है जो जोड़े देश को? विकसित भारत का विकसित वायर।
The world is more connected than ever. And we, at Pine Labs, are making digital payments seamless for our customers. We've come a long way to offer a suite of digital payment and issuing solutions for businesses, brands, banks, and fintechs. Expanding our partnership ecosystem through strategic moves and tech investments, we're pushing beyond our current markets, engineering simpler, smarter digital payment solutions for the globe.
Welcome back. We're still in conversation with Sudeep Bandyopadhyay. Sudeep, wanted your view on a couple of stocks in the broader markets that are buzzing around. Lumax Auto, stock is up 15%. Any view out there? And Indigo Paints, out of nowhere, that one as well has smacked it 15% higher on that particular name as well. What's your view?
Well, as far as Indigo Paints is concerned, I think after quite some time we are seeing some excitement which has come back in this entire paints industry. And there is a thought which is going around that probably we have seen the worst already and things will improve from here on. While I definitely don't want to comment on the biggies, which is Asian Paints and Berger Paints, but as far as some of these smaller players are concerned, I think their performance has been improving. And after quite some time, if you look at Indigo Paints, since the time it got listed, it was kind of languishing. I think things have started improving at Indigo Paints level. While I would not like to recommend any stock in the paint industry at this stage because of the competition intensity which is there and is going to remain for some time, I think things are improving definitely, but still not the time to start buying into those. As far as auto components is concerned, I have been positive, Nigel, on auto components segment for a very long time. And, Lumax is in that space. And we definitely believe that some of these auto component and auto ancillary guys are in an excellent position to going forward as well. Our performance is improving. Whether it's EV or IC, their business doesn't get affected. In fact, their per car component number increases, which gives them incremental business opportunity. Their international expansion is on. So auto component definitely, I will not probably buy Lumax Auto. I will buy an Uno Minda or even a Sambandhana Motherson. But overall, I think we are positive.
Okay, all right. Sudeep, also I wanted your view on a couple of these other names. JM Financial, I remember the stock had a one-way run, went closer to 200 rupees. Now it's down to around 147 rupees. So if any view out there. And Saman Capital as well. The long-awaited fund diffusion came about. The stock ran away, then it corrected. Now it's still holding around 180. What's your view?
I think both the stocks, there was some excitement. Saman Capital around the time of the fund infusion, it was moving up every day. And it reached a level where some amount of correction, profit booking was warranted. And pretty much that's what has happened. Fundamentally, I think the business-wise, the fund infusion was excellent for the company. And I believe that, going forward, the numbers should speak. The excitement around this corporate action and things like that is now over. Let the numbers start speaking. I think at current level, it's reasonably well valued. Also, I must repeat what I mentioned is that NBFCs benefit disproportionately when in a falling interest rate scenario, which is where we are at this stage in India. And some of these NBFCs will definitely benefit more than proportionately. As far as JM is concerned, we like the stock. And after this correction, we believe there is an opportunity for buying from a long-term perspective once again.
Okay, that is on some of the financial names. We're down to the last 4 minutes of today's trading action. Sudeep, what's your sense from the old economy space? I mean, L&T obviously had a good run. We'll look at how Thermax performs and whether the numbers are good this time or not. Our colleagues tell us the expectation is Thermax should do pretty well this quarter. Anything that you're liking in that space, even as we're talking consumer tech, all the focus is on consumption. What about some of the industrial names?
Well, I do like L&T, Surbi. I've been liking it for quite some time, and I believe it's a fantastic stock to buy even now from a long-term perspective. If you're building a long-term portfolio, please do have L&T in that portfolio. I also do like cement quite a bit from the the old economy segment. I think we are in a period where the cement will more than proportionately reward shareholders. I do like Ultratech quite a bit. And being the leader, it has got, it's put itself in a fantastic position. The cost efficiencies have been maximized, optimized, I would say. And demand is continuously increasing. So the pricing power is back. They are doing all kind of expansion, whether it's greenfield, brownfield, or acquisitions. So I think cement, we should see a very good period for the next 12 to 18 months.
And finally, let's end with the stock of the day in terms of maybe not the stock, but definitely the newsmaker of the day. Lenskart. It's ending the day exactly at that price, right? 402. The price that the shares were issued. What's your advice?
Well, I will definitely advise investors to stay away. I strongly believe that the kind of P multiple, sales multiple, whichever way you look at it, I think it's a little unrealistic to buy this stock at these levels. let things settle down, let some time go, and the price come down a bit. I would say rather around 340, 350 levels, it is once again worth looking at, but not at current levels.
Okay. All right, Sudeep, well, just stay on. We'll quickly wrap up today's trading action, which has been extremely stock-specific. But yes, at the headline index level, the big level, you will classify this as, not very, very inspiring because the market couldn't retain the bulk of its gain. And it has also underperformed global peers. Remember, global markets are doing very well with the hope that the US government shutdown is ending, thanks to the Senate passing that bill on Sunday night. But the picture for our screen is a far more modest 80 points on the Nifty. So let's look at the winners on the way up. It was IT. Really have to thank IT and Reliance today for ensuring that we have at least this much of a gain. 2.5% on Infosys, HCLTech 2%, Wipro 1.5%, and TCS put on about 1% as well. Aside of IT, you've got names like Bajaj Finance looking good, 1.5% up before the numbers. Grasim, Tata Motors, L&T, the stock that we were just discussing with Sudeep, L&T up about 1%, and Reliance pitched in with about a 1% gain as well. Titan also managed to put on about 0.8%. However, on the downside, Trent is one of the biggest result casualties of the day, with growth of just 16% at the top line. Market is absolutely not amused. 7.5% gone from that stock. Other stocks falling actually coming from the consumer pack. So Tata Consumer, Eternal, these were some of the names on the downside. Max Healthcare had a rough session, down about 3% as well.